Emany Johnson is a versatile safety from Hercules, California. Fresh off a solid season with the Wolfpack, he is aiming to prove himself and capitalize on the opportunities that lie ahead with training camp on the horizon. A two-star recruit and a multiple sport athlete whose first love was baseball. He felt football was his path and never looked back. His dad was a college wide receiver and safety for New Mexico Highlands University, so sports are in his DNA. There were coaching changes early on at Nevada, but he decided to stay to be close to his mom. So she has done a great job supporting him, which is always good to hear. This is a guy that has a lot to play for. He has a chip on his shoulder for not being drafted, and losing his grandpa and his best friend was tough for him. However, grinding to get to this point with his solid play on the field and having his mom by his side has kept him focused and ready to make a statement come training camp. So when you're taking a look at Emany Johnson, it's good to see the coaching staff is bringing in these tough run stopping safeties. And it was tough to find his all 22, but it's great to be able to break down this film because he was one of the top dogs for the Wolfpack this past season. So we need to see what this player can be able to do and what he needs to work on once they get to training camp. So on this play here, you want to see if your safety can be able to step up and be physical against these running backs, setting the tone early and laying the lumber. Sometimes these running backs do cough up the ball, and that's exactly what happened on his rep. So he's lined up at that strong safety position, and it's going to be a run to the left side with that running back, and he's going to cut up to the middle of the field. These two players here, they're going to be moving to the right side where the play is originally supposed to go. But when you're locking in on a guy like Emany Johnson, forcing that running back to fumble the ball, these are the plays here that can be able to make a world of difference when it comes down to the NFL. And if he can be able to make plays like this come training camp, I'm sure that he'll be able to turn some heads. So we're going to spin a block. So locking in on that running back, they're running the ball to the left side. Next thing you know, he's cutting it upfield. And seeing guys like Emany Johnson dissecting this play, and next thing you know, this guy's closing in and forcing a fumble. And the thing is, whenever you can be able to hit a guy, sometimes if you can hit these guys low, they can drop the ball so quickly. So you have to continue to be physical. He's one of the safeties that had over 100 tackles this past year. So it's always good to hear about that. He had a few interceptions as well as a couple forced fumbles. So being a guy that can force fumbles and allow the offense to get the ball back is fireworks and can shift the momentum in games. With Emany Johnson, they had him lined up all over the field. Sometimes you will see him playing safety, strong safety, and even the linebacker position. And that's a testament to how hard this guy has worked, gaining the trust of these coaches. So he's lined up at that free safety position with the middle field closed, being the last line of defense. So it's going to be a draw play in between the tackles, but seeing the vision and physicality on display from Emany Johnson, this shows why he was one of the top dogs on the defense. And he was one of the guys that was doing this week in and week out this past season. So we'll go ahead and run it. So watching Emany Johnson, he's flipping his hips, reading the whole offense. He sees that it's a run play. Next thing you know, that running back, he's going in between those tackles, trying to squeeze in between that crowd, closes that rush lane, and secures the tackle. And the thing is with me, these are the plays that I like to see when it comes down to that safety position. If you're the guy that's the last line of defense, you don't have to always go out there and make a big hit. But if you can be able to get the guy down, sometimes these plays like this can be the biggest difference of the whole game. So doing the basic things, going out there and finishing the tackle is huge. There are some safeties in the NFL that are not stepping up to secure the tackle like he just showed on film. It's not going to be perfect with this player, but he does show that he can be able to do it from time to time. So this was another solid rep from Emany Johnson. With Johnson, sometimes you will see that he will get out of position on some reps. He is one of the bigger safeties and he does have speed, but going up against these slot wide receivers in the NFL can be tough. Sometimes these players can be out of position right before the play starts, and it's not always on the players. Sometimes it can be the coach's fault. It's pretty much the same thing that I saw with Julius Wood. So this wide receiver, he's going to be running a quick in route, but he's going to dart across the field. That running back is going to be shooting out into the flats, and that outside wide receiver is going to be running the post. But being in the proper position, as well as not forcing these guys to go up against these guys in the slot all the time, is very important when it comes down to the NFL because you do not want these offenses to get the advantage. So let's run it. So the center is hiking the ball to Caleb Williams, but locking in on that slot wide receiver, he's running that hitch and he's darting across the field. And the thing is, the separation was too much for Johnson to recover from. And a lot of these slippery wide receivers, if they can have leverage like this, they can go out there and stress out the defense. And seeing Johnson run right into that USC player as well as that Nevada player, he never had the advantage pre-snap or post-snap. So you have to put these guys in the right position if they're going to be successful. And he's one of those top tier athletes. He's 6'2", 216 pounds, and he does have the ability to recover, but it doesn't happen every rep. So putting Emany in the right position will be key if he's going to make some noise come training camp and preseason. Being a solid tackler is extremely important if you're going to be a successful safety in the NFL. There are times where he does miss tackles, so positioning is key. Not overthinking is important because sometimes the slightest move can give the offense the advantage. So running this play here, they're running an option to the right side. They're faking the ball to number 4. Next thing you know, they're stressing out Emany Johnson. And the thing is, this is what the offense wants when it comes down to these defenders. They like to stress these guys out. He had to make a decision, and he went out there and was leaning towards that running back. And with these quarterbacks, they can be slippery. You will see this in some offenses in the NFL. Not too many offenses run it because they don't have the athletic quarterback to make moves like this. But with guys like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, you probably will see these type of plays like this. So you don't want to be one of the guys that's overly aggressive. You got to stay home and stay true to your technique and get these guys down. So using your eyes and being disciplined on a consistent basis is something that he can work on. Emany Johnson was a guy who played the linebacker position on some reps, covering running backs in the pass game, stopping the run, and being utilized in blitz packages. It kind of reminds me of Marquise Bell, a safety who played linebacker this year. He has the ability to cover running backs and tight ends, but you don't want to overdo things like this, especially if you don't have the proper one technique, because these safeties can get washed out of plays. But with Johnson, I believe that you can use him in his role on some reps, depending on the flow of the game. So they're going to be running a screen to the right side, and these two interior linemen, they're going to be crashing into the B gaps with these two outside guys running stunts. But seeing Johnson being able to read and diagnose and stop this running back from being able to get a chunk play, it was good to see. So we're going to run it. So running this play here, number 21, he's drifting to the right side for that screen. And locking in on number 57, he's trying to attack Johnson, but you got to get slippery. And the thing is, playing that safety or that linebacker position, you have to find ways to evade some of these offensive linemen. And that's exactly what he did. And he went out there and attacked that running back. And it's good to see these kind of reps because in the NFL, as well as college, you will see a lot of screen plays because a lot of these offenses, they like to try to get these chunk plays to keep their playbook open. But when you have a defender that can be able to be patient and understand what the offense is doing, on top of having the ability to roam sideline to sideline, this is what the scouts like to see. One thing about playing in Mike Zimmer's defense is that you have to give full effort, play to the whistle, and finish plays. So this is going to be another run play, but seeing Johnson give his all to ensure that the tackle is made is great to see. So running this play here, the offense is shading to the left side. He cuts it up the field. And with Johnson, he overextended, but he was able to get that left arm there to be able to get this guy down. He didn't know if he was on the ground or not, so Emany Johnson got up quickly. And next thing you know, he wrapped the running back to the ground. And these are the type of plays I like to see, Cowboys Nation. The thing is, you have to have players that play to the whistle, down in and down out. It is big when it comes down to the entire defense. And this is the type of energy that you want on your team. So seeing a guy giving his all is something that Mike Zimmer and the rest of the coaching staff will focus on. Emany Johnson going out there and proving he belongs early in training camp will be big time. So it's time for this guy to lock in, have tunnel vision, and go to work. So in this final rep here, every down matters in football, so you have to have that grit and determination to win these reps. And he did not disappoint. So the running back's going to be running to the left side behind that guard, and all of these guys are going to be crashing into the inside. But keying in on Johnson, seeing that he had the vision and physicality to stop this guy right before he reached the end zone. So we'll go ahead and run it. Zooming in on Emany Johnson, you see that these guys are pinching inside. He sees that running back and smacks this guy. And that could have been another fumble on the play, but I see why that they lean towards this guy on the defense, playing that linebacker position, strong safety, as well as the free safety position. He was a true leader on the defense, not perfect, but he flashed on a lot of these plays on film. Being a good athlete and having a physical style of play can go a long way once it gets to training camp, Cowboys Nation. So with a guy like Emany Johnson, I think that he's a physical player. There are things that he needs to work on, but you see that he's a very, very good tackler. He had over 100 tackles this past season. He has a knack for being able to create turnovers, and he was a leader on his team this past season. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder for not getting drafted, but there are no excuses. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about this player and how he can be able to make a difference early on. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire live streams and the best Cowboys film sessions on YouTube. All right, Cowboys Nation. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.